Hello everyone, I am the Mass Analyst. Well, it's been a while since I made a video. Actually, it's been a few months since I made a video. And I have to apologize to all my subscribers and to all those who have written me and who I haven't responded to. I've been dealing with some health issues and some other things that have been going on in my life for the past few months, and so I've been pretty much inactive. I've responded to it, I posted a few comments here and there, but I haven't really been very active in the YouTube community for a while. Hopefully, I'll have a chance to make more videos than I have for a while. Of course, I've only made 0 videos in the last few months, so making more videos than I have in the past few months, well, that's setting the bar kind of low. Well, to start off with, I'd like to comment on a drama that's happening between a YouTuber I've never heard of before named Youngwestiis, MeanBlackDude, and Sxephil. First, let me state what my interactions have been with all of these 3 YouTubers. Youngwestiis. Well, I never heard of him before. For all I know, he could be a troll account. I'll get into that in a moment. Sxephil. Well, I've seen a few of his videos, but I haven't subscribed to him, and I've had 0 interaction with him. I haven't sent him any email or comments. I'm not sure. Maybe I've commented on 1 or 2 of his videos. I'm not sure about that. But other than that, no real interaction. MeanBlackDude. I have had a few exchanges with MeanBlackDude in the comments sections of his videos. I subscribe to him, and I believe that he is a pretty witty guy, a very, very decent guy, and a man of integrity. I have no doubt that he calls it as he sees it. Now, he might not be saying what is absolutely true. He might not be speaking the absolute truth. And by that, I mean he might not be entirely correct. He's telling the truth as he sees it, but anyone can be fooled. Anyone can be fooled. You can be fooled. I can be fooled. Anyone can be fooled. But I believe he's trying his best to tell the story as it is. So with that out of the way, let me get into the drama. A couple of days ago or so, Youngwestiis posted a video in which he claimed Sxephil was a racist. Now, I'm not automatically going to believe Youngwestiis. I don't know him at all. I don't know whether he has any integrity at all. I just don't know. However, he did post in his video evidence to back up his claim. Now, I'm going to post links to that video as well as links to several other relevant sources that you should look at now before I proceed. Well, I hope you've all had a chance to watch the video and check out the information in the sidebar. Now I'll give you my opinion of what's going on. First, I must note that Sxephil denies emphatically that he had anything to do with this PM. In fact, he says that this was photoshopped. In other words, he's calling Youngwestiis a liar and accusing him of framing him. So it all boils down to, who do you believe? Was this a Photoshop job, or is Youngwestiis telling the truth? Is Sxephil a pure racist? Well, before going into that, I just want to mention something that I hope that we can all, or most of us, will be able to agree on, is that the message itself contained within either the PM or the Photoshop job is indeed racist. The message itself reads, "Only a scumbag nigger would go after a guy's girl, but I will still be making my 6 figs while you are still eating your chicken off your food stamps." Now, admittedly, Sxephil was provoked. Youngwestiis had set up a page, or maybe it was a friend of his, but somebody had set up a page on MySpace imitating Sxephil, and Youngwestiis posted a song to that space, which was extremely degrading not only to Sxephil but to his girlfriend. So it was indeed provoked. But if Sxephil did write this back, and if it wasn't Photoshop, if this was indeed Sxephil's response, he could have responded without bringing race into the situation. He could have said, "Ha, why should I bother dealing with you, you clown? I make 6 figures, I got hundreds of thousands of viewers, you're a nobody, you're nothing." He could have taken that approach, or he could have ignored him. But to bring race into the picture, to gratuitously bring race into the picture. In my books, this was a racist comment. Now, we still haven't established yet whether or not this was a genuine PM or a Photoshop job. But I tend to believe Youngwestii for several reasons. First of all, the email is in character with Sxephil's video that he made about a year ago called "Racism Can Be Fun," and I'll post, and there should be a link in the sidebar to that video. And Sxephil might say, "Well, that was just a joke, just kidding, just joshing, guys." But you know, Sxephil is not an idiot. He's not the most brilliant person on YouTube. I don't think he's a genius by any stretch of the imagination, but he's no idiot. He's no dummy. If I were to make a guess just watching his videos, I'd guess he's above average intelligence. And certainly he had to know that people would perceive him to be a racist after making that video of about a year ago. So that's one strike against him. Secondly, in his comment denying that he had anything to do with the recent PM or the Photoshop job, take your pick, Sxephil did not condemn the statement within the Photoshop. He didn't say that this was detestable, and not only is it detestable, I had nothing to do with it. He just said he had nothing to do with it. So one wonders whether he really has any objections to what was said. I don't know. I can't tell. But given the fact that he made a video in the past that is questionable at best, it kind of makes me think that maybe there's something to this accusation of racism. Thirdly, and most importantly, if you looked at the video, there was a link within the video that Youngwestii clicked to bring you to Sxephil's MySpace page. Now, how do you post a clickable link in a Photoshop job? I don't know. Maybe there's some way other than Photoshop. This would require greater skills than I have. I'm not saying it can't be done. Certainly, I'm sure there are people out there who can do this sort of thing. I can't do it. And MeanBlackDude tells me from what he's observed, and I trust his observations, this is beyond Youngwestii's skill. So those are three reasons why I tend to believe Youngwestii over Sxephil. Three reasons to strongly suspect that Sxephil was indeed guilty of sending this racist email. Now, this isn't something that he could be dragged into court over. As far as I can tell, he's done nothing illegal, but it was certainly racist and obnoxious behavior. Even though he can't be brought into real court, he can be tried in the court of public opinion, and it looks to me like he is being tried in the court of public opinion. Now, I don't think, again, if this were real court, I don't think that this is evidence that would convict him beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't think there's enough evidence for beyond the reasonable doubt standard. But there is certainly enough evidence to raise the question. There's certainly enough evidence to bring him into court. Now, if I were in Sxephil's position, I would be making a video as quickly as possible, not only denying that I had anything to do with it, but condemning the message of the PM. So Sxephil, I hope you will at least make a video. Tell us, do you think that what was written in the email was racist? Do you think that it was a bit over the top? I know you were provoked, but even still, do you think that the person who produced this, whether it was you or somebody else, is someone who should be condemned? Next, if I were in Sxephil's position, I'd be hoping really, really hard that Youngwestii would allow somebody into his account, somebody who could take a look and try and verify whether or not the email is true. If I were in Sxephil's position, and if I were innocent, that's an important proviso that I must add. If I were innocent, then I'd be hoping very hard for some evidence that that Youngwestii was a liar. On the other hand, if I were in Youngwestii's position, well, I've just been called a liar by one of the biggest people on YouTube. This guy, when he puts out a video, he gets tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, and he's called me a stupid, dirty, stinking liar. If I were in Youngwestii's position, if I could find somebody I could trust, then I would let them have a password to my account let them look around and verify one way or another whether I was telling the truth. Of course, this takes a great degree of risk on Youngwestiis' part, and I'm not necessarily advocating that he should do it, because whenever you give your password out to someone else, first of all, that might be a violation of terms of service. But aside from that, if they're not trustworthy, they can wreak havoc. Not only can they read all your email, but they could change the password, they could lock you out of your account, and they could use your account to imitate you. So you'd have to make sure it was a third party you could trust. So I'm not suggesting that he do this. I'm not telling him that he should try and find a third party that he can trust, but if he can find somebody he can trust that has some sort of standing in the community that most people trust to check out his account, if I were in his position and if I was telling the truth, if there was indeed that email, then I would think long and hard about trying to find someone who would back me up. Well, that's my take on things. This has been the Mass Analyst, under and in.